Okay, we're gonna go Peyton next, real quick.
I would say that I feel also pretty excited. And also, I don't know, kind of like in disbelief. It just feels weird that like these 3 years have gone by like so fast. And the third word would probably be, I don't know, kind of maybe a little bit relieved because like our project felt like it wasn't really going to come together, and it has. So I feel relieved that it's kind of like wrapping up.
Also, just a reminder, it can be about how you're feeling in general, or about certain things. Just like, yeah, whatever pertains to you in this moment. Allie.
Um, my first word would probably be exhausted, actually. That's a good word. We've had just the busiest week at school. There's been a bunch of events and I've gotten very little sleep. Um, I'm also feeling excited because we have a lot of exciting things coming up in the next week or so, just like end of year stuff. And then what's another word? Accomplished, because I've just been working on a lot of things for school and like leadership stuff for the last couple of months, and it all just kind of came to fruition this week, and it was really rewarding to be able to see how it all paid off.
Ava. All good, thank you. Um, she put it in the chat. Excited for the future and where she is, nervous for the future and what it's gonna look like, and confident. Okay, Baron. Derek, do you want to read? Okay, Baron said, "I'm feeling excited because of how far we've come. Sad because um, I'm going to miss all of you, and nervous for what the future will look like."
Yeah, let's see. Daisy, would you like to go next?
I would say I'm proud of myself and all of us for the project, and then also I've just been feeling excited for college. And then what's the third one? Kind of anxious about college too, and like leaving family and friends and like just new beginnings and change, but mostly excited.
Daniel?
Well, I've actually been like sick all week, so sick would probably be one of my words. And then I'm excited to finally graduate and just be done. And then I'm kind of nervous for AP tests. So those are my 3 words.
Dang, you're still taking AP tests? I'm cruising. I didn't decide to take any. Maybe I should have. Or retaken some of my worst scores. Anyways, Emma?
I I think I'm excited because school's almost over, obviously, and I'm like very, very ready to start a new chapter in my life. I think my second word, probably, I'm tired, but I'm not, just because like I'm always tired. And then my third word would be like I'm content. Like I'm just like pretty happy with where I am in my life, and like I don't know, it's just like I'm not happy, but I am happy. But yeah, content I think would be the word.
I love that. Okay, Graham, Max, and Parrish?
I can start. I'm pretty excited just for the next phase of my life, but I think my word would be kind of melancholic. Like I'm a very like reflective and nostalgic person, so last 16 years of schooling are starting to come to an end, so I'm kind of doing some reflection, but I think it's for the best. I'm excited.
I'm pretty anxious to obviously go off to college and do stuff like that. But right now I'm feeling pretty relaxed, just finishing up the year. And I have AP tests, but I don't really care. So I'm just kind of chilling, trying to stay relaxed.
I'm gonna say like tired slash exhausted because I don't really know what it is, but I still haven't really processed the year's gonna end. Like it still feels like it's kind of a while away. So I haven't really had the like deep thoughts about graduating or like, oh my God, it's actually ending. Like it still hasn't really kicked in for me because I think that's why I'm saying tired, because I think it might just be that I'm literally tired and I just think of other things. Like I'm not really worrying about it. And I also am pretty indifferent about what I get in my AP and IB tests. Like I don't care. I'm already into college, so uh, I'm just not that worried about it. But I haven't really processed the entire like scope of graduating and really finishing my education before college.
Classic senioritis. Harper?
Kind of similar to Parrish. I'm pretty tired just in general. I'm a little nervous for testing season, and I guess I'm kind of excited, but like they said, it kind of feels like there's like so many big tests. They kind of feel like blocks in front of my view, so like it's hard to see anything besides the next 3 weeks. So it, like Paris said, it feels like it's going to be a while before anything ends, even though that's not exactly true. But so it's kind of not hard, but it feels weird to feel excited because it feels like I still have like 4 months or something left. So weird.
Kylie?
So the first word I'm feeling is overwhelmed. There's a lot going on in my life right now with just like extracurriculars and then like school assignments. So it's a lot all happening at once. And then the second thing is excited. My senior year is starting and I'm starting to like notice the little pieces fall into place of like getting more responsibility and the exciting things happening. So I'm really excited about all that. And then the third word is confident. I'm finally feeling like more sure of myself and hi Josie, more sure of myself and like where I am in life. And so I feel like I have a lot more confidence now.
I'm glad that you're feeling more confident. Lauren?
Mine are pretty similar. I'm definitely overwhelmed with school in my last tennis season, and then I'm very stressed too with everything going on and like leaving soon. But then I'm also really excited for going to college in the fall. So
Maya?
I'd say I'm excited just for like college and everything. Like, but I don't know, the more stuff I figure out about next year, I'm like getting really excited for it. But then also, I don't know, kind of overwhelmed just with everything with like grad parties and all the little senior activities going on right now is like a lot. And then just kind of sad because there's been a lot of things that are like, I don't know, like my last like youth group thing after 7 years of being in it or whatever, like just a bunch of laughs. So it's kind of sad, but yeah.
Nina?
My first word would probably be like bittersweet. I mean, all good things must come to an end. So it's been good. Like I like being a senior and I liked having like all these like senior events, but like it's also very sad at the same time and like all the stuff that we have to leave behind. And then I would say I'm stressed just because like testing next week and then all the stuff that's happening with like graduation and like senior events. And then probably excited just because like college and summer and just having fun.
Victor?
My first word would be excited that like summer and like what Nina said, stuff is coming up. It's going to be a lot better. Also anxious because that upcoming stuff is just very unpredictable. I don't know what's going to happen. I have a lot to get together before college. And then third, also just kind of like nostalgic and sad. That's 2 words, but one of those because just like leaving a lot of stuff behind in high school.
And then Edie.
Yeah, I'd say my first word is probably emotional, just because it's been kind of, I mean, it's been like, I feel like the year should be calming down now, but school's not as stressful, but like everything else is super busy and it's coming to the end of track season, and which is really my second word's overwhelming. Track's been overwhelming just because like the girls are doing a lot better than we thought, but um, a lot more pressures like put on each of us individually. So I think I'm putting more pressure on myself to do well, but it's also really sad because it's my last track season. And then maybe my third word's like in shock a little bit, just because I definitely have not like accepted that high school's ending, and like yes we still have summer, and you know I'm gonna hang out with my friends as much as possible, but you know once summer's over, like I'm really moving away from home and becoming like an independent adult, which is really exciting, but it's also kind of scary.
Oh, and then we missed Toria since she was driving someplace. So the question is 3 words to describe how you're feeling in general.
Well, right now I feel really excited about the weather and stuff and like how that's all been. And then I also feel nervous about all the college stuff that's coming up. And then I'm also very tired of school and high school and stuff.
Aren't we all? Yeah, my words are all my words are gonna be kind of superficial. My first word is actually going to be superficial, because I just feel like recently I've been overwhelmed with lots of schoolwork, so I haven't really had time to contemplate deeply about other things. And then my next 2 words are also appropriately superficial in that I'm hungry because I skipped lunch, and then tired because I woke up at 7. All right, so now moving on to the next part of our agenda is our energizer. So I know a lot of you guys said that you were tired. Well, Edie has something really, really fun planned, and it will be sure to get you guys pumped up.
Yeah.
Would you like to introduce it, Edie?
Yeah, you're gonna get your bodies moving. So planning this last agenda, I was like, okay, what are we gonna do for an energizer? I feel like I've searched the internet and we've done like literally everything that I've seen. But I found this activity, and it was actually, I've done this in person before, but I realized it would totally work over Zoom. So we're gonna play 5 rounds. So I'm gonna tell you, you have 30 seconds to go get, and I'm fill in the blank. So you're gonna go away. If you're at school, I know that's gonna be like maybe not as possible. So if you're at school and you can't like find it, don't worry about it, because I don't really have anything with me right now, too. But so our first round, let me get my phone out for a timer. Okay. You have 30 seconds to get something yellow. Go.
Is this kind of yellow? I guess I have a bag of Famous Amos too. Oh, nice, a disposable camera. That's pretty cool, Daisy.
Yeah, I'm gonna like go around and see what everyone has.
Adam has a rubber duck? What?
Thank you,
That
Abby.
was one item that I didn't
All
expect
right.
Adam to have.
That was 30 seconds. Okay, I'm just gonna like kind of go down. Emily, do you have something? Yeah? Okay. Derek looks like he's holding some food. Allie, what are you holding? Emily has a piece of paper.
Actually, some information about Ballerina Princess Dance and Art Camp, if anybody wants me to pass that on.
I'm glad I chose yellow because it's really like bright and happy seeing yellow everywhere. Okay, Lauren, is that a sticky note? Yeah. Ava looks like she has a pen or marker. Daisy has a disposable camera. Harper has some sort of ball. Daniel, what is that?
It's a graduation cord.
Oh,
That was
okay.
like jump rope.
I did too. Nina, what's that? Paint?
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen. I can't see. Okay. Victor.
It's just some like photo paper container.
Nice. Kylie. Food. Peeps. Aw. Maya looks like she's a marker of some sort too. Yeah. Peyton. Bananas. Adam. Aw. Rubber ducky. Emma has markers. Toria has a Play-Doh container. Graham, Max, and Parrish have paper, a banana. Yeah, okay, awesome. Peyton, wait, we already, yep. Okay, Baron, I saw people in the chat saying stuff. Baron's holding a lemon, and Abby has a yellow pillow. Awesome. Love to see it. Okay, next one. You have 30 seconds to go get toilet paper. Come on, get up, let's go. I don't want to see your face in the camera. Go get some toilet paper. Oh, yeah. This is funny. 5 seconds. Emily, come on. Lauren, Victor. Grimax. Okay, time. Yeah, everyone hold up their toilet paper. That is funny, y'all.
I thought people were gonna come back with like a single square, but like y'all came back with like an entire roll of toilet paper. Like, dang.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, third round.
What's even better is I got a screenshot.
Okay, I was hoping someone would get a screenshot. Yay. Okay, number 3. Go get 3 of the same thing. So 3 items that are the same. They don't have to be like exactly the same, but 3 of the same thing. Oh, yeah, Derek.
Yes, Victor, we both have water bottles. Oh, it's the same brand too.
Time. Derek, you want to go around? There's loud people.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, so Victor and I both had water bottles. Daniel's holding 3 like tangerines or something. I don't really know. Ava's got 3 markers. Deja's got 3 pillows. My screen's kind of frozen though, so I can actually see what everyone's holding. Peyton's got 3 oranges. Emma's got 3 markers as well. Oh, Graham, Max, and Parrish have got 3 game controllers. Nice. Let's see. Lauren's got 3 paper clips. Looks like Allie's also got 3 pens. And my screen's frozen for Harper.
Oh. I don't know what those are, Harper.
They're like clay bowls I made in elementary school.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's fun. Tori, are those frisbees? Yeah, that's fun. A lot of, I'm surprised everyone.
Oh, and Kylie's got 3 hair ties, I think. That's what they're called.
Surprised to see all the oranges. That's fun. Yeah, Peyton said it first. Okay. All right. Round 4. Go get something smaller than your fingernail. Time.
It's
What's
a little
that?
bit.
That was tough.
Aw. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to see these things. So, Derek, what do you have?
I have a very tiny vitamin pill.
Allie?
It's a mechanical pencil eraser.
Lauren?
I found some staples, but I mean they're all together. But
Okay, so good. Baron said he had allergy meds. Daisy or Ava, I don't know if you found anything.
I have an earring back.
An ear. Okay, that's a good idea. Harper?
A screw.
Nice. Daniel?
Found a dried contact on the ground.
Oh god. Oh gosh. Ava had pencil lead. Nice. Nina?
It's a vitamin pill.
Nice. Victor?
I couldn't find anything except like a scrap of paper.
Okay. Maya?
I have a grain of rice.
That's smart. Emma?
I have nothing. That is that
Okay.
small.
Peyton?
I have a button.
Nice. Okay. The order just like changed on me. Adam, Kylie, Adam,
I have a crumb.
a crumb, nice. Kylie,
I have an earring.
okay. Graham, Max, and Parrish. What do we got?
Micro SD card.
Aw, it's so little. Toria, did you already go?
No, I have an earring in my ear.
Okay, nice. And then Baron, yeah, Baron said allergy meds. Abby said eraser. Okay. All right, last round. Again, if you are at school, like, you can't do this one, but you have 30 seconds to go get something from outside. Go. There's a high probability that I like have a piece of turf in my shoes that I could just pull out, but that's too much work. Oh shoot, okay, time. But we'll wait for everyone to come back.
Nice. Baron got his dog. I love that.
Way to participate, Baron, even though we can't see you. All right, Emily, what did you get? Some leaves. Nice. Derek, did you get anything?
I actually live on the 3rd floor,
Okay.
so there's no way that was happening.
Yeah. Allie got a leaf. Lauren, a leaf maybe. Can't tell. Daisy, yeah. Harper, yeah. Daniel got some. Nina, Victor maybe looks like he's still outside. Maya, did you get anything?
Oh yeah, we have this tiny plant on our back porch. So I
Oh,
grabbed
that's
that.
cute. Emma got her dog maybe. Yeah. Graham, Max, and Parrish.
Chew toy. Not
A
a
chew toy. I got a little worried for a second, I'm not gonna lie. Victor, did you get anything? Yeah, nice. Toria. So we got a rock, maybe? Yeah. Peyton. Yes, I see your green. Adam. Yeah, nice. Kylie looks like she got some green. Baron got his dog. Abby, did you get anything? Maybe she's typed grass. Nice. Yay. Hope everyone's heart rate is up and got some physical activity today. I hope everyone enjoyed that.
I really enjoy that. This is a really fun energizer.
Okay, we can now move into some YPI, like actual meeting tasks. So for anyone that joined late, we mentioned this at the beginning, but this is our last official YPI meeting of the year. So I want you guys to really savor this time of year. We will probably meet a couple more times, like unofficially in the summer, just to work with like SP training and, you know, last minute details. But this is our last official meeting. Sad.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, that means no Sunday progress session this Sunday. Today's the last day.
So, with that being
Big
said,
deal. That's
yeah.
I just feel like I want to say something. I know we're gonna have time later today to like reflect and stuff, but this is a really big deal. I'm so sorry that it's virtual, guys, but I also know like we're going to see each other at the dinner, and there may be some other opportunities this summer. So anyway, we love you guys and we're proud of you and excited and know that you're off to great things and all of that. But let's finish well today. And Adam and I are always here. So don't be a stranger. And
Okay.
Derek's comment about the Sunday progress session, that's a gift to you guys. I mean, you probably had it on your calendar this summer, but it's just a like, hey, surprise, like, let's just be done, enjoy your weekend. So savor that for a moment.
Thank you from the AP students.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that being said, our focus today is to tie up as many loose ends as possible so that we'll have a smooth handoff to Scout, which is the simulation center. Kristen and Melody are joining us at 3. We can go over all those questions that we talked about on Sunday and wrote down some points so that we make sure all of our questions are answered and we make sure we communicate everything that we talked about.
So before we move into our next item on the agenda, which is going into break rooms to finish final tasks, I'd like to go over what meaningful progress would look like today. And so basically just like what things do you feel like you need to wrap up or like final tasks that need to be completed. So I like just to have like 1 or 2 people from simulation and video committee just speak up on this.
And finishers if they need some time together. So be sure to like, do you guys want to go into breakout rooms? I know simulation has some stuff to do, but as for like videos and finishers, do you guys want to meet together or stay in the main room? Just be sure to communicate that when we talk about what does meaningful progress look like.
I feel like for videos, since we pretty much already have them filmed, that part is mostly done. I think meaningful progress would probably be maybe coordinating to make sure Ava's the main person who talks to Wes, but make sure like we have people just to kind of maybe let Scout know when we get the videos in case we need someone to coordinate with them. So like if we get the video from Wes, just to make sure that there's someone to give it to Scout or to the simulation committee. So that'd probably be mainly what we work on, and then kind of the final timeline of when we think we'll get the videos. And if there's anyone who can stay in touch over the summer to talk to Wes and get the videos passed off to Scout.
I think for finishers, maybe it might meaningful progress might be if we can go over the manual like one last time to go through and make sure that we didn't miss anything before we hand it off.
Nina, would you like to say something about simulation?
Sure, yeah. So we are working on a couple of documents that we need to just tie up and make sure are all ready to go for the manual.
Awesome. So I want to go ahead and split everyone into breakout rooms. So wait, just one quick question. Finishers, would you guys like to have your own breakout room or is your preference just to like stay in the main room with video committee or something?
I think having your own breakout room would be nice. I think there are a couple things on the manual to talk about.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, will you put me in that room too, Derek?
Yeah.
Finisher, Derek, are you making them?
Yeah. Oh wait. What? Okay. Have you already started, Edie?
No, I mean I had it pulled up, but if you're doing it, then go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we'll open a group for the finishers. Probably open a group for simulation, and then videos will stay in the main room or something like that. Lane is not here. He has a track meet, I think. So there aren't a whole lot of people from simulation here today, but there's some of us, and we just have a few things to do. So.
All right. I just opened the breakout rooms for the different committees.
Hey, Derek.
Wait.
Victoria's in
Yeah.
simulation. Yeah.
Not ideal, so I'll be right back.
Hey. Hello.
Is this the finishers group? Sorry.
Yes. But
Yeah.
You're welcome here, Harper, if you want to. And Nina, I was going to say too, does the simulation group need you? I mean, we can probably read through the manual if you would rather, pick where you feel like you need to be.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. I think we're just like finishing up a couple things on a document, so it shouldn't be too bad, but.
Okay, cool. Guys, I was looking at the, this just feels really good if you're wired like I am. On our to-dos in our little Basecamp project group, it was like, I just took ready to upload to website. I checked that off. And then the last one is like a website completed, and the due date is Friday, April 30th. And that's pretty, you've got it up there. So anyway, I just was saying, like, if you can think back to when we had that initial conversation where we were trying to work backwards and put deadlines and stuff, like, and you did it, like, I don't know, I think a sense of accomplishment. It just feels good to say, okay, we hit all the marks on what we wanted to do. Peyton, can you?
I can speak for the finishers committee. We went back over the manual and just changed some things that were no longer accurate and made sure that everything was finalized. But we do still have a little bit of progress left to make on that. And we have a couple questions for specific people.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure even after this meeting is over, like people would be glad to work on that, or like if you need more manpower, like I'm always up for that too. Awesome. So that's everybody. Thanks for like the debrief on what you guys did today. So now we'll be moving into a 10-minute break, or yeah, let's just all go ahead and come back at, I don't like coming back at 23. Let's just come back at 25. And then when we come back, we'll just have a brief conversation maybe before Kristen and Melody get here about like reflecting on the experience of YPI. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you bet.
Cool.
I'm back now, if you were just saying your name. Sorry.
You're good.
And I just hit record.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to the next item in our agenda, which is just a reflection basically on the YPI experience. And Adam and Emily, if you guys are up to it, would you guys like mind guiding the questions in this section?
Sure. Oh yes, because I kind of had some questions in mind, actually. Can I pull them up real quick? They're not on the agenda, are they?
No, they're not.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk while you're pulling them up. Let's just talk a little bit about what we'd like to have from this segment. What outcomes would you like from this?
So, I mean, just seeing as this is our last meeting together, like last official meeting together, it would be nice just to have some reflection on, you know, how YPI has like positively impacted you and what you've gained from it, really, and just to see like what kind of impact it's had on everyone here.
I'd like really, I mean, I'm just gonna echo what Derek said, but one of the outcomes I'd like is really just that you all would have a built-in moment right now to think about this experience. Your lives are busy. You just, I mean, earlier you guys listed like an insane list of all these ways that you're feeling overwhelmed, excited, nervous, like you all are, before you move on to the next cool thing, let this just be a moment that you can reflect. I mean, I think it was Graham that said he was feeling melancholy because he's kind of like naturally like a reflective person. So put on your Graham hat for a minute, those of you who are futuristic and are always like moving on to the next thing. And I really just wanted it to be a minute because the dinner will feel different. The dinner won't be just us, you know, like you'll kind of have an audience. You'll have spectators to your processing a little bit. And this is just us. So it's, you know, a safe place. So you and I found my questions, but Adam, did you want to add anything to that? No? Okay. Okay, so here are a couple of questions. I'll read through them a couple of times. You don't have to answer all of them. It's just to sort of prompt your brain. And then I'll type them in the chat, or Derek or somebody, if you want to capture it and type it in the chat for me. But what do you know about yourself now that you didn't know prior to YPI? How has this experience impacted you for good? How has this experience changed the trajectory of your career or values or path forward? Path forward. Let's just do path forward. Yeah. When you think about the question, what do you know about yourself now that you didn't know prior to YPI? It doesn't necessarily have to be because of YPI, although that would be good. But it could just be, what do I know? It's been 3 years. I have the photos to prove it. If you did an in-person interview, I'm gonna pull those up. So what do you know about yourself now that you didn't? I think that's a good one. And then how has this impacted you for good? And then thinking forwardly too now, how has this shaped, maybe, how has this changed maybe the trajectory? If you think about where you thought you'd be 3 years ago, when you thought, well, when I'm a senior, when I go to college, XYZ, how has that changed? Instead of calling on people, I'd really love to just challenge you all to unmute yourselves and speak. I can call on people if we need to, but I'm talking now to give you some, you know, time to think, and then we'll just wait. And if you would like to share, that would be awesome.
Are we answering all three at once?
No, you don't even have to answer all three. You know, if there's just one that strikes you and you have those, they're kind of meant as more like prompts.
So you can answer a question other than those too, if you want.
I'll go ahead and take a stab at the first question. So what do you know about yourself now that you didn't know about yourself prior to YPI? I'm gonna say a pretty, I guess, obvious answer, but I think it was like really, really like impactful. Strengths Finder, you know, getting to like just have a visualization of basically what composes like, not my personality per se, but I want to say like some word similar to that, like how I operate is like based on those strengths. And getting to know that about myself really allowed me to play to my strengths, and then also kind of examine like some maybe more negative elements about like specific part, like aspects of those strengths that I should change too.
Okay, I completely agree with that, Derek, because yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody and I almost asked them what their top 5 were. Because I think that, okay, also, I'm sorry, it's a very quiet classroom and I'm the only one talking. So I'm going to type this. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I really agree with like what Derek said. I think so much like what people focus on is like who like your personality, like, oh, she's kind or she's smart or I don't know, whatever it may be. But this one was like, and like, so I knew those things about me. I was like, oh, I'm kind, I'm smart, whatever. But that wasn't like, those are my strengths, but that's not like very helpful just to say, oh, I'm kind. Like, sure, but like, how does that help me? How can I use that? But like my top one was communicator, and I do really think I'm a good communicator. But I hadn't ever like thought about it in that way. I was like, oh, I just like talking to people. So like to have that, to like have the strengths finder thing and like figure out really like what skills that we have that we can take, and even skills that didn't come from strengths finder that came through YPI, like it's just good to have those and be able to use them. And like now I know what to use instead of just having some vague term like, oh, Julian is very nice. No, Julian's very good at communicating and she's persuasive, or she's good at arguing, whatever it is. But like I know how to use that more than like some vague answer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I totally agree with that. I think that before YPI, I like. Sorry, that's my stove is making noises. I like. I kind of knew some of the like personality aspects of myself, but like using the strengths finder and like reading about them and like I don't know, applying it in YPI kind of helped me to figure out how I fit into a group and like how I work best. And I feel like since we had 3 years to practice it, I feel like I kind of got good at finding my niche and like how I can work best with a group. And so I think that's helped me a lot in just different areas of my life too.
I'm gonna just, oh, sorry. Do you want to go, Harper? You can go.
No, you can.
Okay. Thank you. So I was gonna speak to the second question, like how has this experience impacted you for good? I used to be somebody who didn't like working with people, and I used to do all the work myself. And YPI definitely helped me like learn how to work with other people, especially with a big group of people, and just how you can get along with people with different personality types. And this kind of goes along with the strengths finder thing, but like people who have different strengths and have different strengths than you, so you can use that to your advantage and kind of come up with this really good team of people that have different strengths and have different backgrounds that can ultimately make the project or whatever you're working on better than if it was just you and playing your strengths.
YPI, same with Nina, the second question was helpful, like, or improved, I guess, like socially, I guess. Because I remember in the very first little, I don't know what it's called, but when we all first met each other and we had like 3 days, I think, to talk. And we had this little sheet where we had to like say if you knew a person's name and if you like talked to them a couple times or if you were like actually friends with them, you put little numbers, maybe, I don't know, something to indicate which thing those applied to. And now they're much more onto the friends and I know their name level than to the not friends and I know their name level. So that was good. It was a cool opportunity to socialize, especially with people outside of like your school environment or work environment that you wouldn't have gotten to talk to otherwise. So that was cool.
I feel like I learned about like what it takes to make like a project, because in school you're just told make this project and then you just have to like follow a rubric, but there's not really a rubric for making like a philanthropy organization. So it kind of taught me how to like come up with original ideas in collaboration like with other people. I thought that was cool because you don't get many chances to do that in high school.
I think one of the coolest things that I've learned from YPI is the skill of communication. Like I feel like I've always been able to like hold a conversation with people, but like communicating with Wes and like talking as a committee of like what work we need to get done and what we need to accomplish, and like going below the surface level of having like, oh hi, how are you? Like those easy, simple conversations. It's shown me a lot about myself and like how those conversations will push you further and will get you closer to what you want to accomplish.
So I can be a pretty loud and outgoing person in general. And I think particularly whenever YPI started in like 8th grade freshman year time, I was probably a lot more loud than I am now. But I noticed that around those years, if you're the loud person in the group, you're essentially perceived as the group leader pretty commonly and just kind of assume that role. And pretty often in a lot of the group situations I'd be in, I would just take on some kind of group leader role, maybe just because I talked a lot or just for whatever reason that was. And I think that was kind of a negative because I never really, I guess, got great at having group dynamic skills because I was constantly just assumed to take that position to try and like help run the group or try and be the leader of a group pretty commonly. So I think the ability to really step back and be a team player more than just like assuming that position like every time is one of the biggest benefits that I've had. I'll speak to.
As for me, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before, but I think the biggest benefit that YPI has had on my life is my top strength on StrengthsFinder is futuristic, which I mean is spot on. Like my mind is usually far in the future or far in the past, but I have trouble like thinking in the moment, and I mean that can affect how you perceive the world and your worldview, but it can also affect how you reach your goals. Like I like to set somewhat lofty goals for myself, I'd like to think, but I usually work in like spurts. Like I have trouble thinking about what needs to be done today. What are the small steps that I need to take today to reach an end goal, like a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. And I think YPI has provided like a great experience in divvying up my work and figuring out what I need, the smaller steps I need to take and how they build to something greater instead of just setting a goal and then working in like spurts and then being confused and upset whenever it doesn't work out.
I feel like I'm just gonna answer the last question, like how's it changed your trajectory? But I feel like once again, kind of with like the similar thing of the strengths is like I knew like a general idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. That's broad. But like I wanted to be like in public service. So like there were things that I knew, but I didn't know how to make that more specific. Or even when we picked a topic, okay, I want to help out in political engagement, but I don't know how to do that. How would I specifically do that? And so it's kind of like narrowed. Like I've gone from a wide branch of like where I think I could go in life to like a skinnier branch, like that's more focused and more directed. And not that everything has to happen in the way that I think it will, because it won't, but that like I have more of an idea of where I'm going rather than just jumping around. And I think that's kind of like reflective of our project. Like we didn't really know where we were going, but we knew what we wanted to accomplish, but we didn't know how to get there. And I think that's what happened with me and like where I want to go to college and what I want to do and what I major in.
I'll talk about number 3 as well, because I kind of think it's been kind of interesting with like my college process and stuff. I'm so sorry if you guys like hear my dogs in the background at any point. In my college like decision making process, I just like obviously it's very stressful and a lot of factors go into it, but what ended up being like a pretty important factor, like obviously like academics and stuff went into it, but like the amount of energy and resources that the school ended up putting back into the community ended up being really important to me, and like student involvement in that stuff as well, just like getting students involved in both academics but then like bridging that back into the communities or like back into the world or whatever ended up being really important to me. And I don't really think that without YPI, I would have ever really looked into those programs and looked into like what these colleges had to offer in that sense. So I just kind of think that's like, it's pushed me to a very interesting decision and like a really big decision in my life, I guess.
Also, I've always really like closely associated with my Native American community, and there's always been like one community where I've just like always wanted to give back and really cared a lot about my involvement and just kind of grown up in it. And I was never like really close to Tulsa. And I think part of that was that I moved here in 5th grade, so I didn't grow up in the Tulsa area. But I think one thing that I really do appreciate from YPI is my like desire to actually give back to like the greater like Tulsa community as a whole. I think probably really came from YPI, like finding an organization where I really like appreciate my geographical community, and literally just coming from Tulsa, being able to appreciate Tulsa a lot more and seeing how it really could grow a lot in the future, especially. I think my attachment to Tulsa and like desire to really see the area succeed, a lot of that comes from YPI.
Whenever I was like a kid and all throughout middle school and stuff like that, I was always kind of like the kid that wanted to do every single thing. And I guess kind of like Nina was saying earlier, doing projects and just trying to basically do it by yourself. And I think YPI, especially like the first year and a half, really taught me how to not just manage my time, but like manage my energy and effort better so that I can more effectively be a part of every activity I do. So not just YPI, but also like soccer and those kind of things, to manage myself better so that I could more effectively be a part of the team.
I'm going to go ahead and read the messages in chat in case you haven't already read them. So Baron said, this experience changed my trajectory a lot. I thought I'd be going into college super nervous and scared to speak to adults, but YPI has allowed me to learn how to talk to adults, and StrengthsFinder has allowed me to learn how I naturally work and which strengths I favor. Tori said, I've learned so much about myself through the philanthropy lessons in StrengthsFinder. Learning the negative aspects about myself has been especially impactful, and I feel like it has helped me grow and work on my flaws. It has also educated me on the work it takes to create a project this big and what resources it takes. And then Lauren just said that she has to leave, so, which is fine.
Also, I'm gonna add that with, what was I gonna say? Actually, I will come back to this. I totally forgot. Oh, I know what it is. I know exactly what I was gonna say. My schedule, particularly like junior year, got pretty terrible because I pretty much would say yes to every opportunity that I had presented to me. And I think one skill that I learned pretty well from YPI was that there are a lot of opportunities, especially as a cohort, for people to like step in and take things on their plate. And I got a lot better at really assessing like what I was doing at the moment and how much bandwidth I had in my ability to really like step forward and take on a project, or had realized at some point in the year that I really couldn't be taking on as much. So things like Project Showcase, where I could be editing a video at that time and like wanted to come forward and find something to like contribute to the group a little extra because I had a little more time at that point. And then also realizing that sometimes when everybody is up to grab something, if my schedule is extremely packed, it's okay for me to really focus on that and not take on everything that I have in front of me, and really being able to assess what I'm doing at the time and figure out whether I can handle a new project. And I think the fact that I did that made it so that I could contribute a lot more to the things that I was involved in.
Oh, and I actually glossed over this when I was reading Lauren's message, but she said that YPI has taught me not only a lot about myself, but about other people. I learned about group dynamics and how important it is to work with others, which is a skill that will help me in college and in my future. Is there anyone who hasn't spoken up that would like to offer a little bit of reflection on basically how YPI has impacted them?
This is good, guys. You all said a lot, and I would agree with all of it too. I mean, although some of it, it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Like Emma, your story about like, how it influenced your college decision, that's super cool. And then Parrish, like talking about just some of like the personal growth that you've experienced. Like I could see that in you, and that's cool. I hope you guys as adults get to be in a position like Adam and I, where you can watch people like kind of more from like a bird's eye view grow over 3 years. It's probably my favorite part of this job, truly. I was just looking at my phone trying to find your pictures from your interviews, which I have not found yet, but I know they do exist. But that was August of 2018. If you can kind of think back to where you were, no one had ever heard the phrase COVID-19 before. It's nuts to think about how much has happened in the last 3 years, and that even a year ago, more than a year ago now, when we started meeting virtually, we had no idea how this year would wrap up, or if YPI could continue, if there was going to be a project. You all, probably more than any other cohort, have had to adapt, like truly. I mean, cohort 11 had to finish out virtually, but like they were kind of already done. And cohort 13 still has next year, but like you guys were right smack in the middle. And you pulled it off. And this is just a funny little cool thing that Adam and I noticed the other day when we were looking kind of at the roster. You all are the only cohort that has retained all of its members start to finish. It may not mean a lot to you all, but Adam and I were like, whoa, cohort 12, like almost every cohort before you, there's been somebody who couldn't hack it, or had some life stuff happen, or, was kind of gently asked to resign, if you will. And like those things happen. It's just kind of part of any group or process. But you all, everyone that was at the retreat is here, still part of the group, which is pretty cool. So you guys set the record on that one. And I think that's, significant. So, Adam, do you have any thoughts that you would like to share?
I do. I understand the feelings you have. I can remember them myself. I mean, I have to go back a long ways, but I can remember like I'm saying goodbye to this school, and this is where I went. I'm not saying this for you, but it's like where I went through puberty. I mean, I went from childhood to adulthood. I so many things happened in life during these 4 years. And then, well, what does it mean now that it's coming to an end? And it can feel haunting in a way, or you definitely make you nervous. But I want you to know, I've seen 12 other cohorts, 11 other cohorts go this journey, to see them over 3 years of high school, and then to go, okay, this is coming to a close. What next? But then not everybody stays in touch, but enough over the years that, you see them or I got to go through college with some of them over the last few years at TU. It was really cool. Vaishnavi, for example, or Faith Nichols, or, just two that pop into my head. And I want you to know, great things are coming your way. You are going to make some of your best friends that you will ever have. You don't even know who they are yet. It's really cool. Faith met somebody who may end up being her lifelong partner, or however long that lasts, whatever, I mean, but you will meet significant people. You will learn about opportunities and career directions you didn't know existed, right? Like just philanthropy. I didn't know there's careers in philanthropy, but just like there's careers in philanthropy you didn't know about, there's going to be all sorts of pathways you could go. So this is something I think you should feel excited about, because not to brag, but I think this program will equip you for those new adventures a little bit more. You now know what could be done in 3 years. Not that other people don't, they have high school and stuff, but you like have a consistent one project that you didn't move as you moved through grades. You all stayed as a cohort, it just was this one thing. And so I think that gives you a scale of time and what it takes to succeed and what's possible. I hope you look back at YPI and go, we could have even done more, that's natural, and that's a sign of excellence too. Someone who thinks that way and yet still feel very good about what you've done for the reasons Emily has said. I don't know if I've given you my career versus expertise talk yet, because I'm out of cadence with the lessons I would teach because I'm used to doing it live. So, obviously a career is better than a job. So pursue a career. But if you pursue an expertise, that's even better, or expertise is, but you can't have too many and become an expert. But if you pursue expertise, that's even better than a career, because an expertise can lead to many different kinds of career paths. Expertise can't be taken away from you. You control your expertise. Somebody can take your career away from you. I promise you that. During a year ago yesterday, I had my career taken from me at the college. It just can happen. So you will go through many cycles of doorways opening ahead of you and doorways closing behind you. And so how do you want to do those experiences ahead of time, knowing what you know about YPI? Okay, that was a 3-year door opening, door closing. Now the door's closing, What over those 3 years did you learn, and how do I want to be? I know in college, you might want to be one of those people who's like, I want to know everybody and I want everybody to know me right away. And you're going to be, maybe try not focusing on that so much, more focus on having a grounded experience of self-knowledge, and be that it will catch on. Your reputation will catch on in time. It's not a sprint is what I'm saying. Don't rush out the gate. This isn't Hunger Games where you got to get to the cornucopia before, the people from District 9 stab you. You gotta, it's not a Hunger Games. Take your time. You will become known, and those who get known fastest may not be known bestest. So take your time, be yourself, be true to yourself. That's my most important advice. And I know the rest will take care of itself. That's all.
Love it. I think I've given my pep talk about it's okay if you're not having the time of your life. Yeah. Okay. That offer still stands. If you are having a terrible time your freshman year and you miss home, you just need to say it out loud to someone. You can text me. I got your back. I don't know if I gave this detail, but I used to, when I would go home to visit freshman year, I would cry. I'm not a crier. Okay. First of all, so you have to know that about me. I would cry when I would leave home and drive back. And then my senior year of college, when I left my apartment for the last time, I started crying driving home. And I called my mom and I was like, I never thought I'd be crying going this direction. So anyway, and then to answer some of your questions that I'm getting in the direct message, let me just show you what I just found. It's backwards. See if you recognize your handwriting. That's Maya. Is Maya still here? Yeah. Nina. Parrish. Does your handwriting look little?
Emily, what is that?
Look like, let me see.
Do you guys remember what these are?
It's not gotten any better.
It's
it's
the letters we wrote to ourselves at the beginning of YPI.
Do you guys remember what you wrote in them? Anybody?
Is anyone surprised that this is how Miller's looks? Just Miller. Just Miller. I wish he was here. Victor, Jake, Daniel. I promise not to read them, but I'm just saying I have them. Here's Derek's. Does anybody remember if they put money in theirs?
Good,
I
because I
hope
did go through all of them. No, I'm just kidding. Totally.
Somebody last year, I think, put a 20 in, and I remember they like got a $20 bill at the dinner.
Yeah, somebody once put
I
like a
did.
quick trip gas card in theirs.
I didn't realize that that was an option, or else I definitely would have.
Right.
That means you probably did and you don't remember it.
Yeah. Cool.
You guys, 3 years. It's a lot has happened. I know it doesn't seem like it because you were there every day of those 3 years, but a lot has happened. A lot of growth. A lot of you becoming who you are. It's awesome.
Yep.
I was gonna say, so the other day, or not the other day, yesterday, we do this thing at Union where, so you all probably do it too, senior sunrise. So at the beginning of the year, you go out with your senior class and you watch the sunrise. You get out there at like 6 a.m. or whatever. And then at the end of the year, you have senior sunset. So last night we had ours. And what I had forgotten was that we wrote ourselves notes at senior sunrise. And so then I read it at senior sunset. But in addition to me not remembering at all what was in my letter, I also, like, they told us we should ask ourselves questions for the future. So I was like, did we get pulled out of school for COVID-19? Like, did we get to have prom? Like, you know, stuff like that. And on there that I was reading last night and made me laugh was, how's the YPI project going? Hope it's well. And I thought that was cute. And like, I just forgot about it. And I was like, oh my God, like even just last year, us would be so proud of where we are now. Like they I don't know. So I just thought it was really cute.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
Also, I know it wasn't all sunshine and flowers for everybody the full 3 years, you know. That's okay too, you know, if there was some challenges, because some of those are the most important learning experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And that you survived them, and that you've learned maybe how to avoid things that are unpleasant, that are avoidable, how to endure the ones that you endure, how to make things better when there's contrast, how to move it toward alignment. So that's part of it too. That's all a legit part of this. This was meant to be a real world experience, you know. How you reflect on, how did I engage, and is that how I wanted to, and how might I want to engage things differently? Use this as this was your dojo, your learning environment to try those things. So I hope you get the full complement and benefit of it.
Cool. Derek would, oh, here's Kristen right here. Wow, good timing. Okay, before we let her in, I'm gonna help us transition, okay? And remind you of why she's coming, okay? Why are you laughing at me, Adam?
Because I let her in already. All right, go on.
Did you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool, we got it, I'm just gonna keep talking though, so.
Don't like she's not here yet.
The primary reason that she went away. Oh, there she is. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, how are y'all? You're stuck with just me today. Melody is off celebrating her engagement in Colorado, so.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, so just me.
Good for her. Yay. Yeah. Cool. The students, this is their last official meeting. So just before you got on the call, we were they were having some major reflection, talking about they started this program when they were 14 and 15, and now I would say probably most people are turning 18. It's kind of fun. Do you guys want to share anything that you said with Kristen real quick? Two people, just recap.
We talked a lot about how we or what we learned about ourselves. And specifically at the beginning of this program, we took a quiz. It's called Strengths Finder. Yeah, you know what it is. And so we learned our strengths, and so I said but a lot of other people agreed that Strengths Finder really just taught us like things about ourselves we didn't know. But I really feel like I learned like instead of just like these general terms or like even like vague strengths like kind or like happy, things like that, which are good, but they're more like traits, they're not like strengths. And so like learning things that we were specifically good at, like I'm good at communicating, I like talking to people, that's energizing for me. And so like to use that more to my advantage, like, oh, I do enjoy doing that and it's something that I feel I'm good at, I should use that in the future rather than just being like, oh, I kind of think I like talking. I don't know. So we just talked a lot about that and how that helped us find who we were.
Thank you, Jillian.
Yeah, that's incredible that you've had that that resource so early on in your educational and professional lives. That stuff wasn't around when I was a kid in high school. So it took me, I mean, truly until I got, until I started working at OU, that's when I think I found myself, and that was in my late 20s. So kudos to y'all for, you know, for taking that deep dive so early on. It can be scary sometimes. So I really admire you for doing that.
Cool. Cool. Derek, what I was about to say when you jump in whenever, I don't have to run the show, but the big reason that we invited Kristen to come to this last little bit was so that we could make sure that we were aligned for a handoff. And so the students did the questions, they know about our conversation, Kristen, you and me and Adam, and some of those expectation questions. And so Derek, I thought maybe we could pull those up and you guys as a group could kind of share your thoughts with Kristen about those and just have a dialogue to make sure we're good to go. And then actually, as I'm saying that, is Peyton still here? Yeah. Maybe also we could show her what we have of the manual and just a little preview of that too. So, okay, I'm gonna stop talking and hand it off.
Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and share these questions just to refresh everybody's minds on them. So yeah, last Sunday we had a discussion where we kind of went over all these questions. And does anyone want to start off with any commentary that they remember that we went over for these questions, or questions that we had for Kristen even?
Are you just wanting us to pick off a question and just ask it?
Yeah, kind of. And then anything you remember about some of the responses that you said on Sunday, or if those answers have changed now, elaborate on why.
I know for a couple of them, how much latitude does Scout have to iterate, evolve, and grow the simulation, and what they would like this kind of go together with a lot of the early questions. We were talking about, I think the simulation kids especially, what they'd be okay with changing, and mostly the general consensus seemed to be, obviously when you actually do the simulation and see how it works, some of the details of the time period and how long it takes and how many people do it, and maybe some round robins maybe work and some don't, and so you change the style of talking, those smaller detail changes that maybe were altered when you actually do it in person and see how well it works. That'd be fine to change, just as long as the base of the project and the goal and attitude kind of the project stays the same, but everyone I think was pretty confident that it would. So
yeah, I'm sorry, that sounds great. And that's what, those are the kinds of changes we're really talking about, or small changes to make the simulation actually flow better, especially when we're doing things in person again. So throughout this whole process, I really value all the work that everybody's put into this project, and I want to honor that and kind of keep the integrity of what you all developed. So changes would be, small iterations to improve efficiency or to scale kind of thing.
Another thing that I can talk about, we talked about in our finishers meeting, just that time we had together. was that we would love to see the project expanded and grow to just like more than one location, and see that like if other people are inspired by our idea or want to do our simulation, that they may have the means to do that. And obviously it's not required, and like it is like scout simulation, but obviously like we want this project to reflect like us, and we wouldn't want our name to be put on something wildly different. And like if someone changes the project, then maybe it wouldn't hold that same integrity that we have put into it. Sorry, my dog is making noise. But so just saying that like if other people were to like be given the project or given the ability to do the project, that it would only be Scout who would have that ability to like okay changes to the project.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So taking the I don't know why I'm so popular right now, y'all. I never get phone calls except from those car warranty people. So it sounds like you want to model your simulation off of kind of how community action P, forget what the P stands for, the CAP people in Missouri have done with their poverty simulation and with In Her Shoes. So when you hand off that kit, that's the kit. That's the simulation. That's how you do it. There aren't, at that point, when you hand it over to kind of a tertiary person, there are no changes made. So we would deliver a product, and I have some exciting ideas on how to get the word out about this project that I'd like to share in a little bit. But yeah, I get it. I totally understand, and I agree. I think we could pursue. An academic, sometimes it's enough to just say, contact the author or the organization. But we could also look into more proprietary means of keeping the integrity of the project.
Another question that kind of ties along with that is like, obviously this is a simulation that's going to be run by Scout and at Scout, but will the YPI brand be like on the thing, or does Scout get full like?
Oh my gosh, I am not here to see my name in lights. I am here to disseminate great work out to the community at large so everybody can benefit. So absolutely YPI. I mean, my preference is actually to have YPI be the centerpiece in terms of branding, and then OU is just we're facilitating. That's all we're doing. We're adding our expertise in running a simulation and making sure all the pieces fit together. But this is y'all's. I'm not trying to take anything over. Absolutely not. And actually, I'd like everybody on the project to send me like their pictures and names, because I envision kind of a formal, like, a thanks to the developers of this project. And I need to be able to call you out by name and face.
We'll get a group photo to you.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
I have one with everybody holding up a roll of toilet paper if you want that.
I mean, it's 2021. Last year, toilet paper was a big deal. So be a way to commemorate the pandemic, I guess.
Hey, I did think of a question that I see on here that I think probably Kristen actually posed it initially, but I would like to hear y'all talk about this or your thoughts. Is how do you want to solidify future communication? Like, so if Kristen and Melody and her staff are doing things, or maybe she had brought up the potential of you all, like anyone that wants to be a part of leading an SP training. How do you all feel about future communication? How would you like that to go? And you can be totally honest. We know you guys are going to be busy, and you know that Adam and I will be here. So
I was actually thinking about this earlier today in the meeting. I think maybe you mentioned something and it sparked me to think about it. But I personally will still be in Tulsa. I have one more year of high school left to go still. So I would love to be involved in the project whenever you need assistance or clarification or anything. And I think that it might be smart to just keep the base camp group open, because like you don't have to be involved. And if you don't want anything else to do with the project, you can just delete it and never like need to open it again. But I think that that's a good hub for us to be able to communicate through. So.
Oh yeah, so Kristen, what Kylie is referring to is the students use Basecamp. If you've ever heard of that, it's a project management like application platform. So that's where all their work is centralized. So yeah, but Kylie, and there may be others that I think there's a few other students that will still be in Tulsa, although I'm looking at the crowd right now and I think everyone on here is graduating, but like Allie will be around and maybe a few others too, so. Abby, okay, thank you. Abby's still gonna be here too.
I think Miller also, I don't mean to like put him front and center, but he's a junior still.
Mm-hmm.
Hi guys, I'm sorry to just barge in, but earlier we texted Wes about kind of getting like the dates he thinks that the videos will be ready, and he just texted me back and said things are moving a bit slower than he had hoped, but he thinks that we asked to have the student-led interview done by the farewell dinner so we could play it there. So that'll be ready by May 11th, he said, and then the last two will be ready May 24th, May 28th, May 24th. I'm not quite sure what he said, but I'm on my phone, so I can't go look. I have to go get my second COVID vaccination, so I'm sorry to be putting this random information right here, but that's why.
No problem. It's good.
I think that was actually kind of cool. I was like, hey, this is Ava. I'm reporting live on the scene in my car, driving around, getting COVID shots and taking names and making videos. Peace out.
Nice timing too. She like literally disappeared.
Yeah, that was great.
She's talking about Wes is their videographer that they've been working with. So
very cool.
Cool. Kristen, are there any other questions you feel like we haven't hit on, or other expectations or things we want to clarify?
No, just, we've been telling all of our sim users as we're, beginning to start transitioning back to being in person, to bear with us, because it took us about 6 months to adjust to doing things virtually, and it's going to be an adjustment moving back to in-person events. So I want to make sure that we are all on the same page about, potential deployment of this simulation. I would love, like Emily mentioned earlier, I would love to have those who are interested come in and, demonstrate the project, demonstrate the simulation and do an SP training. And then if we can, I'm pretty confident I can get a pilot group of people together to experience the simulation. And then I'd like to have some of you all facilitate that sim with, Melody and my support in the background. But I'd like to offer you the opportunity to experience the simulation, in kind of a 360. So from development to all the way through to facilitation and debriefing, if that's interesting to anyone. Very cool. And then, so, depending on how, so that's a pilot, right? We'll see how it goes. I would, at the end, after the debriefing of the participants, we would all debrief together to talk about what the usual debriefing stuff that y'all are very familiar with now. And then we could make changes. And then I would start to think about different programs within OU who may be good candidates for going through this. I mean, I have several options, medicine and PA are first and foremost. So I'd like the opportunity to work with those faculty to determine if it's, when it's feasible to offer something like this to professional students. I anticipate it would likely be in the spring, so 2022. So I just want to make sure that you all aren't expecting us to have, one a month starting in September or anything like that. I want,
This is just like a follow-up question. What is like realistic or feasible for when the simulation can start running, and how many will be run? And do you see that number like growing? How will it grow? Like, I mean, obviously, like the professional students would like go up, but I don't know if that question
Yeah,
made sense.
so I'll tell you kind of my vision. So what I see happening is, again, we're going to do this pilot. We'll work out any kinks, make any small changes that we need to, run through it again with, again, a smaller group. Again, kind of come back and talk, decide, if, is this something that we need to scale? Are the numbers right? Are we getting the outcomes that we want to get? All those things again. Then I would like to, if any of you are interested, I would like to write this project and this experience up to submit for presentation at, there are a couple big simulation meetings. That one's an international meeting. It always happens in the States, but it's big, it's huge, it's amazing. And that's IMSH, so the International Medical, oh my gosh, International Society for Simulation in Healthcare. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at my acronyms today. It's the IMSH is the meeting, SSH is the organization. And then there's ASPE, which is the standardized patient, huge national group. And I would like to submit this for a presentation at one or both of those opportunities. And then from there, if possible, I'd like to have like a small kit that we could then hand out to, if it's a workshop participants, and then they can take that back to their home institutions and pilot, remain in touch with us, and just grow it that way. So not only Tulsa and Oklahoma, but potentially nationally and internationally as well. I know Julian said she's interested.
Feel free to hit the action buttons and do yes for if you're okay with it, or no with you know that you don't want any Kristen saying anything or showing anybody any of your work.
Yeah. Ew, gross. I'm also curious, just like how that is a really cool opportunity, but like just on the heels of you all reflecting on your YPI experience, like, do you guys have any reactions to that? Like, Julian, you said you wrote in like a beginning of the year note to yourself, like, what's going to happen with our project? Are we even going to have one? And
I think that for me, it's really exciting to know that our project has the potential to be something that like potentially could be seen by people like from all over the world. And I think that through YPI, I didn't say this before because I was still kind of like marinating on my feelings, but YPI has kind of introduced me to philanthropy. And I feel like this is something that I potentially might do for the rest of my life. And so I think that like this opportunity is so great and I'm really excited.
Yeah, kind of going off that, it's crazy to hear that because I feel like at one point in time, just with COVID and I don't know, we kind of came to a standstill and we were just like all really worried about what the future of our project would be, like if we would even be able to have one. And so like just hearing that like it has the potential to have like such a far reach, it's just really, it's really good to hear.
Yeah, very cool. I'm glad everybody is on board with that idea. And really, when this does get accepted for presentation, I wouldn't want to be the only one presenting. I would want some of you all to have the opportunity to come to a big meeting and do a podium presentation or lead a workshop. So, which is something that I, when I was in high school, I, was like blissfully unaware of this kind of stuff happening. But, looking back again, this just offers y'all so many incredible opportunities to kind of build this professional portfolio before you even graduate from high school, which is incredible. On the heels of a presentation, I would then like to turn around and write this up as an academic paper to submit for publication. So, I mean, you know, not that academics is really a way to see your name in lights, but like kind of in lights, a little, like little lights maybe. No big
So do
checks
you need
come with it, but
co-authors? Does that paper need co-authors then?
it absolutely needs co-authors. Yes, absolutely needs co-authors. You know, I mean, really, I can't write the paper, right? Like I can help guide, I can help mentor, I can offer, you know, some university assistance to things like a literature review and building the introduction. But I can't write the methods. That's your knowledge. That's your process, right? So I you know, I want to offer to kind of be like a rock, or, you know, offer you the foundation to get something like this going. But it's really, it's you all.
But Kristen does get to be the first author because that's just how that stuff works, right? So yeah.
Either first or last. I would take last is fine too. In medicine, last is just as prestigious as first. These are things you learn.
True? Is that really true?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And really, honestly, corresponding author is the most important because that's the author that has ownership over the work. So, but then yes, willing to be contacted by strangers. So.
Gotcha. I want to make sure, like, when I was in high school, what Kristen just talked about, I had no idea what it was. So I'm just wondering, like, is some of this a little bit foreign jargon to you? A little bit, maybe. Yeah, I know some of you like that are maybe more connected to the academia world. I don't know, but she's talking about publications, and that's a really big deal if you're thinking about graduate school at any level. And yeah, like if your mom works for the university, for example, Kylie. I had no clue. And actually, just a little side note, when I was in graduate school at OU Tulsa, I worked with my professor on a paper that we published about our work with Cohort 2. So Kristen, this is not good. You won't be the first time. I don't think Dr. Castleman is still there. Tanya Castleman. I don't know if she's with the school.
Oh my gosh, no, she's not. But how funny. No, she's not. She's actually in New Mexico, but she is an adjunct professor this spring. So we just facilitated a simulation for her not 2 weeks ago.
Oh, she's awesome. But yeah, she was the professor that like connected us all to YPI in the first place. So anyway, it's a big deal to be published. You know, especially if you're thinking you're going to go beyond like a bachelor's degree and do more, or if you think that Kristen's job sounds cool, which it does and is.
And this is how you develop expertise. I was just talking with them about expertise versus a career. Well, you develop an expertise in simulation, you develop an expertise in medicine, and now you can crossbreed those expertises. And when you get into college, you could be forward thinking in terms of what conferences do I want to go to, and presenting at conferences, you know, scope them out your freshman, sophomore year, and then be shooting for them your junior, senior years, because those open up avenues for graduate schools and scholarships, and just you're building your expertise, which is fun. You don't feel pressured to do that, because I went through undergrad and like Emily, I had no idea that was a thing. But now you all can know going in, and that's an advantage, just one of the many advantages.
Cool. Okay. I just want to check back in on our expectation conversation, see where we're at. I think from just looking at notes that we've covered it, but any other thoughts, guys, from as far as what we want to share, communicate with Kristen, and then likewise, Kristen, any other questions?
Should we show the website?
Yeah, do. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll screen share. Kristen, we have a website. We just put our manual on there. It's still a little bit of a work in progress, but I'm going to share that.
Cool.
Right now. Okay.
Did you guys ever think you'd be Zooming like freshman year when you got here? I'm doing a little like kind of like interlude here, but like, you ever think you'd be Zoom experts? Let me share my screen. Let me make a breakout room. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. All right, back to you.
Okay, so here is, oh, how do I, well, speak of that, how do I hide this bar? Okay, well, I'll just do this. So here's our simulation manual. It's got 2 sections right now. They're pretty long. I'm thinking we'll probably break them up a bit, but this is the manual and it goes over how to run the simulation. And then the second section down, where did it go? Okay, I don't know where the second section went, but the other section is like actor training. So it's kind of another separate manual on how to train actors in the simulation. Yeah, so this one's in a doc, but it's a really simple website just to kind of have everything in one spot. Yeah, no, that's great, y'all. That's amazing. That's, I mean, just incredible.
Kristen, as far as the final handoff, I think students had kind of envisioned like giving you all the link to this website that includes all of that information, but are there other things that you think that you would need on like a bit of like more of a tangible level to take this and run with it?
Just really just the contact information. That's obviously incredibly important. So that's the manual, the SP training guide. No, I think, I think that's it. Well, I guess when we figure out where exactly how the videos are going, and if that's something, that is I don't know if that's a digital or I'm so old, or like a cassette. I just
Stone tablets.
Sorry.
They're very durable. They last very long. They just take a lot no, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Do you need what about if we formed like some way that, I don't know, do you guys plan on staying in touch with each other after are you just going to ditch each other, or what do you guys think? Because maybe there's a way that a group of you can definitely be in touch with Kristen and her team. Just why not? Why not be like a virtual advisory board for whenever it's needed?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Because one of the other questions.
I think that's a great idea.
Oh, I'm sorry, Derek.
No, I was just saying that's a great idea.
Very cool. Yeah, I think my last question in terms of content of the simulation, as I know y'all worked really hard on developing, the cases and the arguments and the for and against, but I can anticipate other institutions maybe wanting to leave that open and letting participants decide what they would like to talk about and discuss during this simulated practice. And I just wanted to kind of, take the temperature of the room in terms of how that feels, or if it's, incredibly important to stick with the original cases, or, kind of what are your thoughts on something like that? Oh, is someone else gonna go?
Sorry.
Okay.
Like our topics, sorry, Peyton, oh, sorry. Our topics right now, I feel like, are very much towards like the year and COVID, and also just like high school of the year. So I feel like as like more things come in, like future things, like more political aspect things, then that could be put into the project.
Okay. Okay, great. I was gonna say, sorry, Abby, your audio blocked out. So I was gonna say, I can't speak for everyone, but I think that it'd be fine if it weren't set in stone what the arguments are, because I feel like it's better to kind of change them slightly and maybe deviate a little bit from exactly what the manual says and have it be more like organic, rather than to like stick exactly to what the manual says and then it'd be like kind of superficial and kind of forced.
And I think our main goal in having that set list of topics is to make sure that the SPs feel comfortable and prepared with everything being discussed, so they aren't just thrown to the wolves when having to talk about a topic for a long time. That you, better than all of us, would understand how to make sure that they felt comfortable and knowledgeable about whatever they were discussing if there were to be changes, which I think are completely fine.
Sure. Because what I really see is a strong possibility is, depending on the professional group that we would deliver this to, they may have like social work specific arguments and things that, require this kind of discussion and training. Similarly in medicine and, dentistry, and law. And just in being a teacher, right, there are different kind of things that appeal to each profession. So I think having the ability to cater to the customer in that sense would be really valuable. That was my last question.
Before you leave, we were wanting to give Scout, so through the foundation, through the Schusterman Foundation, we were given some money to start up our project, and we've used some of that for like the videos and things. But we would like to give Scout actually some of our, like a portion of our money to help get this up and running. So with that in mind, what do you think is like a realistic, like, what would you need realistically to get this project up and running so that we can talk about?
Sure. So, I've talked about this briefly with Adam and Emily. Really, the only costs that I'm really concerned about are SP training time. So, our SPs are temporary employees of the university, and when they come in to work, they clock in. And that, long story short, that time hits my bottom line. So that would be helpful if you were able to kind of offset some of the costs incurred for SP training and then even SP delivery. Although I'll tell you, I'm not incredibly worried about it. So anything that you all are willing to give is amazing and much appreciated. In terms of, if I had to give you a number, we're not very expensive. So if I had to give you a number, let's say we were doing, let's see, I'm sorry, I have to write things down, or I can't do it all in my head. So that's what I'm doing. Times 600, 10, 25, 50.
This is totally how I do math. I really
Yeah, I
love it.
So really, you can see my math, it's like $3,000. We're very reasonable. So if that's something that, works within your budget, we would love to have that too. Just, kind of dedicate the SP time to the initial training, and then pay them for, at least one pilot of this to see how that goes.
Awesome. Yeah, we really appreciate you and everything like you've given to this project.
Oh gosh, this is fun. This has been so fun for me in a really hard year where, I've had to make really hard decisions and fix things and, problem solve like I've never had to do before. This has been a chance for my brain to kind of get a really nice creative break, and I get to problem solve in a different way. So it's like flexing this other brain muscle that I don't usually get to flex. So this has been amazing. I have enjoyed this so much.
Awesome. And guys, guess what? Kristen and Melody are coming to your dinner on May 11th.
Woo, we're so excited.
You get to meet each other in person.
I know. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, oh my gosh, do we handshake? Are we still elbow bumping? Like, can we hug? Like, I don't know what the protocol is.
I don't either. That little stick on your name tag, we could code it you know, put like a green dot for like okay to hug. Like
I love that.
you know.
Well, we can have like an image of a fist, an image of an elbow, and
yeah, just a
wave.
smile.
Cool. Well, just to sum up this last little conversation, I've taken some notes on all of this, and just so that for you all, cohort 12, we can know the things that maybe we need to gather together and finalize so that we can send, you know, officially hand some things over to Kristen. So on that, I've got, you know, the manual, just maybe a list of people who want to be involved in SP training over the summer, contact information, the videos when they're completed, and those who might want to participate in a virtual advisory board. So a couple opportunities. So I'll follow up cohort 12 with you all on those things so that we can then package it all together and then include some information about the piece of their grant that they'd like to give to you all, Kristen, and hand all of that. Try to have that maybe in the next couple of weeks if possible. So
Great, that sounds amazing. And I think everybody, if you don't have my cell phone number, I think Adam and Emily and Derek and Edie have it. So I'm fine with that being shared. Just text me first. I don't answer phone numbers I don't know.
Okay. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, shall we just express our appreciation for Kristen and excited to see you in person?
I know, we're thrilled.
Cool. All righty. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll
you
talk
so
to you
much.
soon.
Okay, sounds good, y'all. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
Good job, guys.
See what I mean? Case in point, when you started YPI, you didn't know you had a friend in the Scout Center. Now you have friends, and you're going to make more friends along the way. Things are looking good. I know you're worried about doors closing, but many are opening.
Can I ask, are we going to talk about, is that like the budget, is that like a cohort decision or more of like an Emily and Adam and the foundation decision?
It's a great question. It's always a little murky, but you all carry a lot of weight. Let's just say it that way. And I'm always, I never handle money conversations well. So I avoid them. You know what? Get good at having money conversations. That'll be a great skill for your lifetime. Get good at, how to talk money, how to know what you want. Negotiation. Read a book called Getting to Yes. It's a great little book. Getting to Yes. It's from Harvard Negotiation Project. So got street cred. Getting to Yes. Okay. Anyway,
I have some thoughts on that.
Go
Do you
for
want
it.
me to say?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, good.
Okay. My thoughts on that are that Adam and I are the conduit kind of between you guys and Alana. And then basically from a logistical standpoint, how it would work is probably we would go to Alana and say, the students have met with Kristen and they would like to award this dollar amount that's remaining of their budget to Scout. The foundation would likely say, that sounds great. And then they would dispense the money likely directly from the foundation to OU, because OU kind of handles all of the money that is related to YPI totally. So what you all would really need to do is decide what your recommendation would be for us to give to the foundation. Does that make sense? So we would just go and say, okay, the students talked and they'd like to give this much. Kylie, to your question, how much do we have left? You have 20,000 that currently that has not been spent, but that does not include what we will owe Wes for his work. And so I think it's reasonable and fair to say that you have at least $10,000 probably to award. Kristen said 3,000 for the initial SB training and maybe the pilot. So one thought is you could do the 3,000. You could say, hey, we want to cover the pilot and the SP training and then another year's worth. So we want to give 6,000, or we want, I think you all can choose. I'll stop there and say, do y'all have any thoughts, any reactions to some of what I've thrown out there?
I feel like if we're giving like just opinions on the amount, um, I think 6,000 is like a fair, or like maybe 5 or 6,000, because I think to pay for the SP training and the first pilot for sure. But then on top of that, like they're gonna have to start running it for the first time with the like university students. So I say we go a little bit beyond just the pilot and have like enough money to run like maybe 2 or 3, and then hopefully they'll have funding coming in already for that, so that like they will start having money. I don't know that I explained that well. And also like super randomly, I think we should donate $5,012 because we're cohort 12, so whatever we donate should end in a 12. That's just my random opinion, but you know,
Hey, I totally would be fine saying that to Alana. She would appreciate it, I think. Anybody else? Kylie says she agrees. Any other thoughts?
I agree with what Julian said. I think that we should for sure provide them with like the 3,000 to get started, and then just like I think 6,000 is a good number for covering like future stuff as well, and just trying to provide as much as we can to get the project as far as we can would be really good.
I'm giggling at Adam's comment. 6,012. Okay, cool. Anybody have any different thoughts on that? Okay. Right,
it for sure has to end in a 12. I think that would be so cute. Just like the cherry on top, like cohort 12 gave $6,012.
Yeah, I'm totally, Adam. You're my witness. I'm gonna say that to Alana. She's gonna like it. And 12 is a good number. Okay, cool. Well, guys, I think that's a wrap as far as project related stuff for today. This is incredible. So incredible. I think there's a few loose ends of things that I mentioned to Kristen. So if you would do me a favor and just stay connected to Basecamp for a little while longer, because that's the primary way that I'll communicate some of this stuff to you all. And if you will please RSVP to the dinner. I know some of you have done that today, but keep it up. Okay, I'm gonna hand it back to Derek.
All right, so the last item on the agenda. Oh, go ahead, Julian.
I was just gonna ask, because I wasn't here at the beginning of the meeting, and I heard that this was our last ever meeting, which is sad. But I was thinking, like, we have just little things to do, like get the SP training guide, like finalize it, make it look nice and stuff like that, and then hand over like the link to the website and stuff like that. If there's like a certain timeline, like we think we could get that done in 2 weeks or whatever, would it, like, not that it has to be an officially YPI sponsored event, but we could have like a little meeting with some of us where we get all that stuff together, and then we like have a call with Kristen and say like, hi, this is yours officially. Like that could be a scheduled meeting, so that like people could come and like watch the project get passed off, but also just feel like everything's like out of my hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
yeah, so that goes back to Emily's point on like staying connected to Basecamp. So I think after this, like you guys have earned a well-deserved break, and so this weekend, don't worry about that, but please stay connected to Basecamp, and then we'll contact you about like meeting to tie up loose ends, and then whenever that moment happens when we can hand off the whole project to Kristen, we'll make sure to tell everyone about it too, so you can be there for that too.
That's a great thing. On that point, I want to say you as of today have completed your commitment to YPI. You don't have to do anything YPI related. You have made it from beginning to end. So that's a fact. That is written, that is done. So yeah, only if you want to stay involved. And if you don't, we repeal your membership to YPI. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Totally joking.
Okay, so now moving on to the last item in our agenda. it's going to be our final plus delta. And then after that, we'll adjourn for the last time. Would anybody like to start us off?
Eric, that was a depressing way of starting our last plus.
But it felt momentous. It felt important. So I'm glad.
It felt sad. He was
This
like,
isn't just any
before we
old plus
adjourn
delta.
for the last time.
You know, like, so like, you know, if you have words that you want to say, like, say it now because this is your last chance. Like,
That's so depressing. Okay, but I do have a
now
thing.
or forever
though.
hold your peace.
Yeah, okay, I have a thing though. Like that is a plus delta. Plus I feel really good about our meeting with Kristen because I was interested in those expectations that we had set, and I felt like she answered them well, and like I liked the answers she gave. Like nothing was like, ooh, she shouldn't be our partner or anything like that. But also like we've known her for a while, so I didn't expect anything like that. And my delta, besides Derek's depressing introduction, is the nothing really. I actually really enjoyed this meeting. I was so glad to be a part of it, and I'm so glad like we're all here. It's sad that could be my delta, is that I'm sad because I like you all. But
plus for me, I feel like the meeting gave really good closure to our 3-year experience. I agreed with everything everyone said about how amazing of an experience YPI has been. And I think that as our last official meeting, yep, Emily loves closure. I do too. It's very satisfying, very fulfilling. And I think that we really, like, there might be a couple things to think about, but for the most part, I feel like we did a pretty good job.
Adding on to that, I feel like a plus is like I feel that like sereneness of having everything be like wrapped up, and like although it's not completely done and we still have to pass it off, like it feels done, but also I feel excited still about like the future of the project. Like I don't just feel like it's like done and over with and there's no more. Like I feel like excited about where it's gonna go from here. Like this is really just the beginning of what is gonna happen with it.
Yeah, I think like Victor was saying, it was really nice to get closure, and like I feel like all areas, like the little closers group, pretty much just like cleaning up the manual and getting that pretty much done, and then I don't know, talking about our experience in YPI, and then meeting with Kristen and fleshing all that out. It was just really nice to kind of figure out all the little details, and now we know what we have to do, and it's pretty much done. So it's weird, but it was nice.
I have a plus. Fun Energizer. Kind of a side note, but
yeah, I'm using my toilet paper to catch the sweat off of my cup. So see.
Me too.
And then if I get hungry, I can just eat this tiny raisin. Sorry, I hijacked your plus.
Oh, I was just saying I liked the closure too, but Energizer is good.
Yeah, definitely in the future. If you guys are ever running Zoom meetings, like keep that Energizer in mind because it's a pretty good one.
I have a delta, but it's not like for today's meeting. It's like an overall delta. And I didn't really know where else to say it, so I figured I'd say it now. I really feel like we missed out on a lot of Adam's leadership lessons with like Zoom and COVID and everything. But those were all like really interesting. And I know that like sometimes you might like sitting for a long time is really hard, but I feel like I learned so much about like myself and just like like other things outside of what's taught in school. So I think that those are super important. And like Adam and Emily going forward, make sure that those are something that you keep introducing because they're so impactful.
Just because I feel like we should end on a, well, maybe not. Because I feel like we shouldn't end on a delta because of the whole closure thing. I'm glad that this isn't like our last ever thing. I'm glad we still have like a farewell dinner that'll be in person, and it'll be like, you know, even more closure. So
I have a good plus to end on, unless somebody else can trump it. And Edie's not here for it, but it's recorded, so tell her, and probably we'll do it at the dinner too. But my plus is Edie and Derek and the incredible amount of work, you guys, that they put in to bring this project to the finish line. Like, I know you all know they did a lot of work, but they did a lot of work that you didn't see. There was middle of the week work, there was texting on the side, there was rearranging schedules, figuring out Wi-Fi, recording meetings, uploading meetings, communicating with Kristen. They did a ton of work. And I just want to say also about Derek, there was a time where we didn't think it was possible for someone to go to OSSM and be in YPI. And we certainly didn't think it was possible for someone to go to OSSM and be a co-facilitator. And Derek, you flat out proved us wrong, and you did an outstanding job. We're just really, really proud of you guys. So thank you, Edie and Derek, for all that you did this year.
And just, you can see how this cohort was a co-creation of everybody in the cohort. Everybody in this cohort has played a role in the experience and what we created. Very, very powerful, lots to reflect on. Thank you, Victor, for reminding us this is not our goodbye. We have our dinner coming up, so you are free to just relax from YPI stress or anything. Just enjoy. You should feel extremely proud. Extremely proud.
And on that note, thank you guys all for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend.
Yay.
Meeting
Bye,
adjourned.
guys. See you
Thanks,
soon.
everyone.